Jeff, I am reading this book right now. It is a page turner, man.
Oh, thank you.
It is awesome. Your writing style, and the neat thing is too, because I know, I saw Bo's tweet about the book.
Yeah.
And you and I kind of went back and forth about it, and
not in a negative way, like back and forth.
No, the back and forth between us wasn't. But he was said something along the lines of, my story's my story. You'll get my story from me when not. And anybody who might read that and think that this is a book that denigrates or anything, every page you could see that you feel the same way we all do about Bo, like lionizing this man's achievements. Now you tell about some warts and all as well, but this
not
is
a ton of warts though.
No, this is a fantastic book and all the stories.
Thank you.
So out of all the stories that you've told, I'll go with this kind of sports talk radio question. It's like, which one is the one that you learned about where you're like, okay, I didn't know that, and I can't wait to tell it in this book?
So I love the story when he was a junior at Auburn, and they were playing baseball, and it was the first night game at the University of Georgia.
Mm-hmm.
And it was a big deal at Georgia. Vince Dooley's there. It's a huge crowd, pep band, the whole thing. And Bo Jackson's playing right field for Auburn. And he's getting just heckled. Behind the right field fence, there's a thing called kudzu hill with all these kudzu vines, and people would sit there, drink beers, and heckle. They're berating Bo Jackson. He grounds out his first at-bat. He goes back to the outfield, berating him. Second at-bat, first night game, he hits a ball that slams into the lights.
Like
as a
Roy
home run.
Hobbs?
It came out 39 days, but this event came 39 days before the natural. So he does this. He hits the lights like Roy Hobbs. The natural isn't even out yet. Mm-hmm. He goes back to the outfield. All the fans do this, start bowing at him instead of booing him. His next two at-bats, he hits 2 more home runs. His last at-bat, he doubles, and they boo him.
Because he didn't deliver in the manner that he already had.
Yeah.
That's the way you turn a crowd, man. From against you to for you, and then against you again. And just he was on this show 2 weeks ago, and just the larger than life stuff. I did ask him about the story you tell, I believe, in the forward of this book, right?
Yeah.
About him being on a plane with the White Sox and it's going down, or there's something that makes everybody think it's going down, and he leaves the cockpit, and most of the players thought he not only, did he flew the plane, or he saved the plane from going down?
So basically, it's
like
the White Sox are returning from Anaheim.
Right.
Tim Raines looks out the window. He's on the White Sox, and the plane is on fire. And it's like, holy crap, the plane's on fire, plane's on fire. Everyone's freaking out. Guys are praying. My favorite scene is Frank Thomas cocooned himself in pillows, as if if the plane was going to crash, that would save him.
Ready for the big hurt.
Right. So cockpit door opens. Bo Jackson walks out. Guys, everything's going to be okay. Take your seats, blah, blah, blah. This whole scene. Joey Cora, the second baseman, was like, it was the most courageous thing I've ever seen. But then I got another story from other guys on the plane who said, no. Bo Jackson, when the plane's on fire, everything's the same, but he runs up to the cockpit and he goes to see if he can help him.
Right.
And it was the most courageous thing I've ever seen. So there are these two stories of what did Bo Jackson do on this plane, and it almost goes with the theme of the book, which is he's so mythological and he's really Paul Bunyan. And the one thing that everyone agreed upon, the plane makes an emergency landing in Des Moines. It's 3:30 in the morning. Players are freaked out. There's a closed kiosk with a keg with a lock on it. And Bo Jackson picks up the keg, takes his right hand, breaks off the lock, and they all drink out of the keg. And the question I asked is, if the kiosk was closed, where did they get cups? And I said, that is part of the mythology of Bo Jackson. It doesn't matter.
And that's the reason why it's called The Last Folk Hero, the life and myth of Bo Jackson, is because this was all of these achievements, and you explain it in the book, were done at a time way before, obviously, you could see achievements. Like if Bo did it now, we'd see it in the palm of his hand the minute he does it. Mm-hmm. And so many of these achievements were done on film and on television, or many of them took place that they weren't captured. And so the stories are like fish stories. They get larger and larger and larger, or they are true, and he was that large, and it's amazing. It really is that dichotomy throughout this entire book.
Well, his just biography alone, I mean, when he was in high school, first of all, he stole 90 of 91 bases in high school.
That's crazy.
I found the catcher, Sam Doss from Jess Lanier, who threw him out. He said, I got a high fastball, blah, blah, blah. I nailed him. He said the next time up, Bo Jackson hit a home run, winked at him as he crossed home plate. Bo Jackson won back-to-back Alabama State Decathlon Championships as a junior and a senior. Mm-hmm. His senior year, there was a mysterious, I still don't know who it is, mysterious guy older guy walking around with an umbrella covering him because it was raining all weekend. He did the decathlon in sweatpants. He didn't do the last event. He was so far ahead both times, he didn't have to run the 1500 because he hated the 1500. The day after winning the state decathlon and setting 5 individual track and field records a few weeks earlier, he pitches his only game of the year for McAdory High School. Only game of the year, strikes out 13 in a playoff game and they win. It's a joke. The whole thing's a joke.
And then tell that story about the pop-up.
Oh,
Tell that one.
they're playing Fairfield High School. And I'm hearing this story. Bo Jackson hit a ball so high, by the time he reached third base, it came down. And I'm like, that's BS. There's no way that happened.
Right.
Well, I call one person. No, I'm telling you. I call another guy. I'm telling you. You need to call Eddie Scott. He was the outfielder. Call Eddie Scott. I tracked down Eddie Scott. And he's like, I was playing left field. The ball, it's the highest ball I've ever seen. He went on to play in college. He's like, it's the highest ball I've ever seen hit. I couldn't find it. It comes down in front of me. I bend down to grab it. I pick it up. Bo is rounding third base.
It's the truth.
I mean, Eddie Scott says it is.
I love the story, too, about when he shows up in the Royals clubhouse for the first time. Tell that one. I'm seriously, I could literally.
Yeah, we could do this the whole time,
but tell that story, Jeff Pearlman, please.
This is why I don't get if Bo Jackson's mad, because this book is just his legend.
I'm telling you, I'm reading this book, and all I keep thinking about is how amazing this all was.
Yeah.
But keep going.
Yeah,
Keep going. Please.
He's drafted by the Royals, and he goes for his first time, takes BP with him, and he has with him a stack of glossy pictures of him with the Heisman Trophy, which he had just won. And he signs them all unsolicited and starts putting them on the lockers. And Hal McRae is the DH, veteran, he's 40, and he's following him, basically taking them and ripping them up and throwing them in the air. And all the Royals start throwing these pictures in the air, like, who the hell is this guy? My favorite is like George Brett, like a Cheshire cat, is watching this all, and he takes a bunch and he hangs them on his wall. I mean, to me, like, Bo Jackson's first major league at bat. It's the White Sox. He's playing Steve Carlton's pitching. It was at 321 wins at that point. Bo singles to second base, beats it out. 3.6 seconds is the second fastest recorded time for a right-handed hitter from home to first in baseball history. He did in his first at bat. After the game, they're like, so what it means to you getting your first hit off Steve Carlton? No idea who he was. Just didn't know.
Catch the Rich Eisen Show every single day on the Roku channel, 12 to 3 Eastern, for free.